What is happening, y'all? Cowboy here, and welcome to part 1 of my Shadow of the Erdtree walkthrough for Elden Ring. Now, you may have already seen part 1 of this walkthrough, and that's because this is actually going to be a complete redo of what I had done so far. Previously, I had begun prepping notes for the walkthrough based on what I had a chance to play through with the game a few times with the press version. At launch, there were some significant changes. So there were items that were dropping that hadn't dropped for me. There were items that were added onto the map that didn't exist before. There were weapon scalings that were completely changed around. Some weapons buffed, some weapons nerfed. Icons that were added in that didn't exist. And basically there was so much stuff that had been modified. There would have been like pinned comments on every single video. So at this point I decided, you know what? I'm only a couple episodes in. Let's scrap it and do this properly on the latest patch. So here we are. Starting over part 1 of our Shadow of the Erdtree walkthrough. Now, a couple things up front before we get into it. Members get early access to episodes. I've seen a lot of people, they're like, wait, I have to be a member to watch the videos. No, you don't. Every single day there's going to be a new part of the walkthrough that's released to the public. After the Let's Play series wraps up, I'll have probably 2 episodes, maybe 3 episodes a day of the walkthrough going up. If you have a tier 2 membership, anything I've recorded you can watch early. That's all members get. It's early access. For this, we are going to be using a dexterity build. We are level 200, 60 vigor for the soft cap, 38 endurance because we're pretty thick with our gear, 36 strength so I can use a great shield. Dexterity being our main stat is up at 80, and then 30 faith for a variety of nice buffs. From what I've played so far, strength was able to get through the DLC fine, bleed got through it fine, faith was absolutely crushing it, so pretty much any build you go into the DLC with, you will be fine. But we're going to be running Dex because this is one of the characters I hadn't started with. Now to begin the DLC, you can talk to Lita over here. You'll had to have had beaten Mog down here in the Tarnished Mausoleum. You also have to have had defeated Radahn. As long as you have fulfilled those requirements, touch the withered arm, and you will head on through to the Realm of Shadow. Now, as opposed to the previous first attempt of the walkthrough where I decided we were going to run around and buff you on up, this time around we're just going to keep things a little bit more simple. We're going to basically work through it zone by zone. We're not going to worry about running out of our way and grabbing upgrades. So this should be even easier to follow than the initial walkthrough series. And so after you grab that grace, we're just running straight northeast to get that map marker. There's going to be an enemy that's right up here. I would not suggest fighting this enemy at the moment. There's a couple enemies we're going to fight, but trying to tackle that thing as soon as you get into the DLC is probably a bad idea. We'll grab the map for Gravesite Plain. And then this is the Scorched Ruins. We're going to be clearing this in just a second, but there's a grace, so we're going to grab that first. Some other stuff before we get into it. I would highly suggest you have Rykard's Great Rune. That's just going to make things a lot easier. It'll allow you to basically just constantly have your health topped off as we're going around and killing enemies. So that's super useful. As for your physic, I like Crimson Bubble and Stone Barb. I think getting stance breaks is super useful in this DLC, but obviously go for whatever is going to work well with you. So we're going to head right back into here. And this area, you can probably notice that we already have the ability to do an Ashen Summon. I would suggest Mimic in pretty much every case that we're going to experience here. Since Mimic is based off of your own build, as long as you have a competent build put together, Mimic is going to work incredibly well. So we're going to take this right path first. And also take that off. The Shadow Realm rune right there. And then we're going to jump on up around this corner, and we're going to hop onto this roof ledge. Got a furled finger right here. We got 2 dudes right over there that are attacking us, so we're going to hop up and take them out. PC does have those weird little lag spikes, but we're going to play through that just fine. Afterwards, we're going to make our way up here for the main item of the Scorched Ruins. Now, there's a lot of areas in the DLC where you'll be able to summon your Ashen Summon, even though there's not like a boss. This is one of those. And they really want you to lean into your summons in this DLC. There's the Blade of Mercy. This increases our attack power after we get a critical hit. So there's a couple of instances in which that's really good. If you're doing parry-centric bosses. I like to swing back here just to grab all these black fireflies, as they are useful to have for crafting. Alright, you can see a loot right over there. That's going to be what we're jumping over towards next. I'm going to jump on over there, get the red flesh mushrooms, and then turn around. Hop over to here, get another black firefly, and then you can see a ledge over there. And we're going to hop and hop again. Get us more black fireflies. After dropping down, pick up the Greater Potence Cookbook. This is a very important cookbook, as it's going to allow us to make the new fire pots, and those are going to be very useful for killing some enemies later on. And then right down here, we have our first hefty cracked pot, which we can use with the new thing we just picked up. Alright, and that is going to be it for this first section. So from here, go ahead and mount. We're going to leave via the north side. We're going to swing around this and head on over to the east. Now, one of the main ways to level up in the DLC is the Erdtree fragments. You can find those out in the world, but you can also find some enemies that have the Erdtree fragments. One of those enemies is one that you're seeing right ahead of us. So anytime you see an enemy that's holding a pot, he ran away. We'll make him respawn in a second. So the enemy we want just dipped out. Let's see if this works. We're just going to quit and reload. But those enemies that have pots above their head, that have a shine to them, you want to rush them down. Because the first time you kill them, they're usually going to drop either a upgrade for your Ashen Spirits or a upgrade for your character. They're all over the place. They're very sneaky. So you can see he's back. And that is going to be our first Erdtree fragment. Pick up more black fireflies. We're just going to run straight south. And we're going to get one of the other types of upgrades that we need right over here on this cliff ledge. The Revered Spirit Ash. Alright, continue along. So we're going to warp over to Gravesite Plain, which is this grace right here. And then we're going to shift things to night. We'll get you a larval tier, so if you just started the DLC and you're not happy with your build, you already have a chance to change it. We're just going to use these anytime we have them. So we're going to go ahead past time until nightfall. Yeah, I'd hoped to do this walkthrough with the same character from the original series, but considering he was a good chunk in already, that unfortunately isn't going to happen anymore. But we're just going to head east. I mean, this guy's pretty close to what we were doing in the walkthrough anyway. You know, we've taken a stronger dex focus, but we were working with basically strong weapons and great shields, so very similar playstyle to what we had already showcased before. But like I said, you can take any build into this and you'll be just fine. There's our larval tier. Now we are going to just swing down this hill. We are going to head southwest, so pretty much put it right in the middle of your compass. And what we're looking for here is that archway over there. I'm going to pick up the lump of flesh. For this next encounter, if you have a Miser Cord, I'd suggest putting it on. And then beyond that, whatever weapon you're comfortable with, I'm going to be going with a Vike's War Spear for this next fight. We're going to be heading just straight east. Now there is a Beast Claw enemy, and this enemy is incredibly deadly. If you let him get up on you, there is a very, very high likelihood of him bleeding you out and killing you. You can see him walking right over there. So what we are going to do is we're going to sneak up and get a nice big juicy crit on him. Stamina back up. You can see the Frenzy Spear along with the Great Shield. Very comfortable strategy to take that guy down. Beast Claws, fantastic weapon. Very aggressive playstyle. Those are a standard weapon, so you can change them up however you want, make them strength, dex, whatever the case is. I'm going to go ahead and just slap on something else. We'll go Dragon King's Cragblade. And actually, let me sort that out. Another thing, before we get too far, over in System and Display, make sure you have Mark New Items and Show Recent Items tab on. Anytime that you pull up your inventory, we'll have this first tab where you can see everything you've picked up to reference it. So, after going north, we're just going to follow this road. There's a couple of enemies that are going to be sitting here on the ground and some stray loots. And that red lightning poke. A shard, black firefly, and I believe it's arrows. Alright. We're going to continue down this road until we reach the cathedral. So there's a couple more enemies that we'll kill along our way. We have a Statue of America here, so if you die, you'll be able to respawn. This enemy has a very nice hammer that we're going to get a hold of. You can see we can pull out our Mimic here as well. So we'll pull them on out. Don't be shy. Use that Ashen Summon. It's here to help you. Who cares what your buddy says? You're the one that paid for the game. Play it however you want. And the Black Steel Great Hammer. Feels so good to finally get that. You gotta understand, in the base game, I looked all over for that, and it turned out that it wasn't actually coded into the game at the moment, because that guy was supposed to drop it, and he didn't. Anyway, Skidoo Tree Fragment 2 and 3 from this spot right here. There's one loot over here and a couple of basic enemies, so we're just gonna... And I really hurt the range on that. Tell you what, still has the damage though, that's for sure. And while it doesn't matter what weapon you're using ultimately, one thing I do want to point out is you should have at least one weapon in your arsenal, in my opinion, for this DLC that's just a big heavy hitter. Doesn't matter what that weapon is. Could be Bolt of Grantix, could be that, could be Blasphemous Blade, could be Wave of Gold, and we actually have a couple of those. But you're going to want something that is your, like, get shit done nuke weapon. We're just going to run straight along this waterfall. This is probably my get shit done nuke weapon. Alright, kill them. We'll pick up a Blessing of America. This is a full heal, so it's good to keep for emergencies. I wouldn't suggest using it anytime soon. From here, we can warp on back to Scorched Ruins. Right. Then we're going to go ahead and swap. We'll use this. And we're going to go ahead and, as time, we'll go to noon just to make it a little bit easier to see. We're going to have to go back to night in a little bit, but we got some time. So we're just heading straight out northeast. And there is a cavern over here we're going to go into where you'll find a painting. We can't actually do anything with this until almost the very end of the game. So I'm just going to pick it up for now and that's it. Nothing else to say for the time being. Yeah, didn't even... back in the original, because we don't get to use that for a while, I didn't even bother mentioning it. People are like, but we missed it. I'm like, oh, okay, so we'll just get it. Run up and kill these dudes. What did I put on you? Oh, I haven't put anything on you. You're not even keen yet. You can see all that healing coming in from the Reichard's Great Rune. Super nice. We have Backhand Blade. That's one of the new weapon types. We'll find a couple types of those, but it's a solid weapon. More dexterity leaning, but you could use it on a lot of builds. Let me see. Inquisitors for the Backhand Blade. We're going to continue north. And there's a Grave 3 along the ground right by these Deathbirds. The Deathbirds are fairly annoying. Generally, I like to have something to just nuke them with because, they, like I said, they're annoying. Knocking them out of the sky with lightning is pretty satisfying. Go ahead and grab that Grave Glovewort 3, and then we're just going to head straight west. You can see a little cross off in the distance. That's exactly what we're going for. There's quite a few world bosses around, but we're going to hold off a little bit before we get to them. Have a couple NPCs here we can talk to. Go ahead and burn through his dialogue. This is the Horn Scent. Give you some maps for crosses. You're not going to need those, but feel free to look at them. Alright, once we get that, as long as you abide, his dialogue is set. Grab the fragment. Anytime you find a cross, interact with it at least once. Talk to Freya.
I am Freya in battle. Oh, did you speak? If you've yet to, you'll find more. Miquella. If you assuming you intend to trace.
There we go. We're going to grab this grace now. That's our 4th Skidoo Tree fragment, and we're going to get a 5th in just a second here. So run on up this way. We're just following the path, just running along. Another grace to interact with. Another Skidoo Tree fragment. We'll talk to these NPCs. Ansbach is amazing. I would not suggest being mean to this guy. He's going to be your best friend for most of this game. Over here we have more. He chills. We can go ahead and purchase things from him. I'm going to pick up those rune arcs, and then those are new. Those are new. I'll grab that. Just grabbing all of his new stuff because I have nothing else to really spend my runes on. He's basically just a merchant, does merchant stuff. Go ahead and grab this. Then we're going to run up ahead. This is the first legacy dungeon. We're not going to do this just yet, but we're going to reach the proper entrance of it, because the very start of it here, there's a revered spirit ash that we can grab, and then just like a couple of really basic enemies we got to fight. It's going to be a big scorpion thing that comes down pretty much as soon as we open this, so that thing will come down and we will just obliterate it. Alright, and then I'll probably take you off and put on... Guess I could go Sacred Relic Sword for this next part. This next room is going to have a bunch of little scorpions. You can see them coming, so... Gotta love Wave of Gold, right? Up here to grab our next Revered Spirit Ash. Grab a Shadow Realm rune. Two more. And one more at the top. The fireproof dried liver. So we go through here. There's going to be one more that wants to fight us right around this corner. Grab the black fireflies. And then we'll get up here and get the grace, and we are officially at Bellurat Tower Settlement. And like I said, this is the first legacy dungeon. We're not going to do this just yet. I'd like to clear the exterior zone first before we knock that out. But we're going to be here probably 2 episodes, so. For now, at least just grab the grace, and then that way we don't got to worry about running up here later. Get more Shadow Realm blessings. And another Revered Spirit Ash. And another one. So we're now at 3-3. And from here, we are going to warp straight back down to Main Gate Cross. We keep this sword on for a little bit. We got a big encounter coming up with a bunch of uglies. Where's my shield? I need to organize this all later. I'll go heavy with that, so I can run this one though. I really like the Erdtree shield, but it's too heavy to run with this for this particular build. We're just going to head southeast for now, and you can kind of see that cliff path. We're going to be taking that. One thing I really like is, even though the walkthrough, you know, we originally did it on PlayStation to keep track of trophies and all that, you know, being a platinum walkthrough and all that. But I feel like the colors are just so much crisper on PC, for me at least. Like, even with that really annoying stutter that pops up, just, I don't know, I feel like it's way more vibrant, it's way easier to see. There's going to be 3 smithing stone 3s, which are right there. Come on. Got those, we can just head on up. Some basic enemies over here. You don't gotta really worry about them, but you can kill them if you want. Some bats. Go ahead and get this. Rest. And then if you don't have one on already, make sure that you pull on out a bow. So you're going to want to have a bow. Store that. Actually, let me go for you for the time being. Scroll these loots as well. Southwest, okay. For Ghost 4, okay. So we're just going southwest. This is actually a really good spot to test weapons, because there's quite a few of these big dudes right here by the Grace, including that pair that's over there. So I really like coming over here if you're trying to test out how strong a new weapon is. We're just going to stay along this road, and we should have another shiny pot guy coming up in just a second. Knock him out. Very annoying. Gives us another skidoo tree fragment, and then we can also pick up the Ghost Glove Wort 4 over there. And now we're going to just drop down with an east heading. And right there, you can see a little pot that's hanging. So go ahead, throw in your bow. 2 hands, left trigger. Pop that off. Drop down on that side. String sellers. I love sword dance. Incredibly strong move. Alright, now we're going to do Prospect Town, which is this area that's right here. So just ride around. See this, and then start going up. Once you're up here, you should be able to pull on out your summon. Take this first enemy out. It's up ahead. And here we have some Beast Blood. Continue to do 2 Beast Blood. Continue for 3 White Flesh Mushrooms. Go up for 2 enemies and Beast Blood on the left structure. Okay. This is our other enemy. Nice rock. I've had a lot of people asking about this. As long as you have a seal, a sacred seal, you can use the rock. You need a seal to cast incantations. To be honest, I don't know how you would have reached the DLC without understanding that, but seals are for incantations, staves are for sorceries. Pick up the White Flesh Mushrooms, and we head on up. Got people that thought it was a shield for some reason. Alright, and this is where we're going to pull out Big Nuke. This will work well. Blasphemous will work well. Ruins will work well. We just have a bunch of enemies here, so anything that's going to allow you to just send out nukes is going to be your friend here. Otherwise, it's, you know, it's a lot of stuff to fight, right? Easy clap. Alright, so Bloodfiend's Arm. It's a pretty interesting strength arcane weapon. Deals a little splash of blood on the heavy attacks, so pretty cool. Go down here for a somber. Let's see. Flowers inside, somber downstairs. We got that already, so we can go up top now, and we'll get the 5 arcane talisman. Which, if you find a weapon and you don't have the stat requirements to use it, remember these talismans. These are super useful. Like, oh, I just need, you know, for example, I'm at 7 arcane. But, you know, if I slap on Outer God's Heirloom and then I slap on, like, Albinuric Mask, I'm at 16 arcane. So it's very easy to swap stuff around and then use that to test gear. Anyway, from here, we're going to warp back to Cliff Road. And we are going to make things night once again. What do I want to swap to here? Yeah, why not? Showing off all the different weapons we're going to be working with. My pastime to Nightfall. Alright, so we're going to take a southeast heading. We're going to get another Revered Spirit Ash, which is right over here. And then we're going to head south for a larval tear that we can grab. Get up on this hill. Over here we have the Forager Brood. I know these look like followers of Rot, but they are not. Do not kill these ones. You will find some more of these that are bad guys, but they're like pink. So if you see pink, give them the attack. If you don't see pink, friendly. So from there, let's see. Afterwards, drop off the cliff to the east. Here we go. If you want, you can... get rid of that dog real fast. Smithing stones, great arrows. I believe that's it there. Afterwards, drop these for 4 smithing, 4s, and great arrows. Okay, excellent. So now we're just going to go south, just kind of right along this path, this road, whatever you want to call it. Once we see the big boy here, we're going to cut over to the right. And we have another cookbook over here that we're going to grab. Next, we're going to swing our way up here. And there's an artist shack that we want to reach. This one we'll actually get in the next episode. Not too far away. Then from here, just kind of head north to get off of this ledge, and we're going to swing around to the south. So we're just riding on down, and we're going to swing, now that we're at the bottom of it. One of those angry enemies from earlier is here. Once you feel strong enough to kill them, it is worth killing them. They drop a rare backhand blade, which is super nice. Backhand blade, unique Ash of War on it, or unique ability on it, and bleed. Blessed Blue Dew Talisman, which is fantastic. So this is 1 FP roughly every 2 seconds. So if you're someone that really likes using Ashes of War, this is just going to keep you topped off constantly. And then we have the Oathseeker set, as well as the Pata, a new fist weapon. So back from here, we're going to go to 3 Path Cross. We're basically clearing everything except for, like, the bosses of this area at the moment. We'll have to go to night again in a little bit, but it will also shift things right now just so y'all can see a little bit better. Alright, over here, we are just going to head northwest. And right along this cliff, we're going to get Savage Lion's Claw. Which I'm a big fan of Lion's Claw. This allows you to do basically a flip and then a secondary flip. So higher commitment, but more potential damage. After that, just run north a little bit just to get down towards the water. You don't want to just jump straight off and die to gravity. Now we're just going to run on out this way. Still kill this thing so I can get out of combat and mark where I want to go on the map. Be right there. Just see where that marker is. That's the incursion painting that we just picked up. Pretty nice medium shield, has some built-in fire resist. Go over here. Grab the Shadow Realm rune. And I thought there was something else in my notes. Let me see. Shadow Realm rune by the Archway. Down and grab the Jail Grace, then continue north. Okay. This is Bellurat Jail. We're going to start the next episode down here. We're basically clearing the whole overworld, the western part of the plains, and then next episode we're going to do the jail, we're going to do the dragon, we're going to do the big fiery guy you see, we're going to do the mausoleum, and yeah, basically just be banging out a ton of bosses. So we're, in a sense, we're clearing everything leading up to those bosses. Give you a little bit of chance to get more upgrades, familiarize yourself with the world instead of throwing you straight in, because I know people have been kind of on the struggle bus against the bosses. So go around here. We have more grave birds, but we're just going to grab their armor and dip. You can, of course, fight them if you want, but it's a lot to cover, so some of this stuff I'm just running past them. No real point killing grave birds. And then as we continue along, should be some wolves that are guarding some mushrooms. I know, big loot. And we'll go over here real fast. This is technically Ailing Village, but since it's like down off the cliff, we'll just hit this up real fast and knock it out. Actually, swap to this. These enemies aren't very good against fire. Okay, we're gonna run this way for a grace. Right at the entrance to the village. Actually, you know what? Before we grab the grace, let's go get the great katana. So we can get that and then just shoot straight to the grace. So we're not going to fight this dragon yet, just to reiterate. We are going to snatch that, which is a very nice weapon. I might end up even leveling that up and using it a bit myself. Used it on one of the playthroughs so far. Very satisfied with it. Gives like a strength build to dex characters. Okay. Man, those skips are annoying. I saw a Microsoft PowerShell command that I could use to like figure out what's causing it, but I don't know anything about PowerShell. Kill those guys. We have a broken rune inside of here. And then we're gonna head on up for some more. And right up ahead, there's like a little agglomeration of them. Just a weird empty room, right? Ooh, mimic. Alright, go up here to pick up the Ailing Talisman. It's going to resist or increase your resistance to the last thing you suffered. So if you get hit by bleed, you're going to get bleed resist. If you get hit by poison, you're going to get poison resist. Then over... where is it at? Where is it at? There we go. Human Bone Shard. Real thing we came for, the Revered Spirit Ash. Alright, and with them down, we can grab this. And then we're going to warp over to Great Bridge North. Alright, so now that we've done all of that, we are going to pass the time until night. the larval tier. And then we're just heading straight south to pick up the other cookbook, which will give us something that's very good against furnace golems, as well as the materials we need to make them. Which, you know, this is another example of why we are redoing the walkthrough. This has always existed here. These have not. I'm sure there's even more stuff for me to discover out in the world that was not there in the Let's Play. Either way, so taking a look at the map, though, at this point we've basically cleared out the, I guess we could call it the west side of Gravesite Plains. There's a couple big things that are still left to do. We're going to do an upcoming episode. First, we're going to hit up Belluret Jail. Besides that, we also have a Ghost Flame Dragon over here. We have a Furnace Golem that's over here. And we have a Mausoleum that's over here. And so that is going to be the focal point of the next episode before we make our way over into Belluret Settlement. So we'll head on over to Belluret Jail for now and wrap things up. And I will catch y'all very soon with the next part.